Hey, everybody, welcome into episode 3, I guess, since we're doing back
Three?
and forth between our channels. Yeah, so the first one was on mine, second one was on yours, third one was on mine. I'm not sure how we're trying to count it. Second one on my channel.
Oh, I'm counting it as like the number on the channel. So,
Okay, then
like
the
for
second
instance,
episode.
second episode, yeah, Rambling
I've,
Duo. No, is that the name of?
yep, so on here we just have a Babbling Duo instead of, because my whole moniker was I would do live streams and I would delete them because I was finding that some of the topics that I was talking about aren't, like, I don't know, very like easy for some people. Like, I didn't want to stir up controversy, but I still wanted the conversation to happen. So I made it like a live event thing, and then I would take it down. So yeah, this is the continuation, episode 2 of Rambling Duos on my channel. So welcome in, everybody.
Welcome. Yes. I'm coming in on location. I'm in Williamsburg right now. I'm house sitting for an actor
Oh,
friend of
nice.
mine.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got a lot of depth of field, or like a big ass room or whatever. So I'm playing with that, and alternate side parking in New York is only once a week now, at the latter day of the week, not twice a week as it used to be. It's a
Okay.
COVID thing, so you
Okay.
just park your car for a whole week. You don't have to worry about it. It's wonderful.
Nice. This
It's a
music is
new
kind of
thing.
epic in the background right now. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's like building
Oh,
up,
I
and we're
don't
just
hear
having like a.
any.
Oh, you don't hear any music? Is it just me
No,
that
but I
hears it?
mean,
That's
I
fine.
mean, maybe the audience hears it.
Cool.
Anyway, so I was talking about I'm going to LA. I'm going to visit LA. That's where you
Yeah,
are, right? LA
yes,
County,
indeed.
right?
Yep.
Um, and so basically, I'm getting like really, I'm gonna be sober for December, like totally sober, and just like prepping like Rocky, and for LA, because I'm gonna be in LA in January, right?
Got it. Yes.
And when I like socialize and everything, I'm gonna be drinking sparkling water, right? Okay,
Yeah.
even though like everyone drinks alcohol, right? Because
Correct. Yeah. Well, it's a social thing. Like, it decreases your inhibitions, makes you feel good and less nervous, I guess, in a sense.
yeah, but you can like trick your brain. So you know that miracle of the water into wine. Jesus turns water into wine at the wedding.
Yeah.
You know, right? Okay. So this is what I think really happened, right? Jesus goes to the wedding with his like disciples, right? And the guy that's running the wedding is like, "Oh Jesus, oh my God, we fucked up the wine order. We messed up the wine order. It's not coming for this wedding. We're so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so embarrassing, right?" Jesus is like, "Ah, don't worry about it. What do you got? You got water?" It's like, "Oh, and you got the wine. Give me a wine cup. Let me get a wine cup." And they're like, all right. And then pours water in the wine cup. He's like, "Look, I'm just gonna drink it like it's wine, right?" He just drinking the water. He's like, "Just drink it like it's wine."
Yeah.
We're like, "What the fuck? What the fuck's going on?" He's drinking the water like it's wine. Everyone's like, "What? What do you mean?" And then they start drinking the water. It's like it's wine. He starts getting loose. Everyone starts drinking it, feeling relaxed, just enjoying themselves. And then they have like the best wedding ever. They were all drinking water, and then everyone talks about it all over town. He drank the water like it was wine. He turned the water into wine. They had a blast. So I started testing this theory, right? I would bring
Absolutely.
cases of LaCroix to hipster parties where like and like someone that's like drinking too much, I'd be like, "Yo, why don't you just drink water today? Just today.
Yeah.
Only grab LaCroix. They're in the fridge. I got two flavors in there, right? Just grab them, right?"
Yep.
And what ends up happening is you keep going to the fridge and you drink more water than you ever drink in life. Okay, so you're
Gotcha.
constantly like and you crack that can and it feels like a release. Oh, like this relaxation like comes all over you. You're drinking the water. You're drinking it fast. You start getting loud and loose. Everyone's like it works on everyone. It's like a fully aware placebo where you fully know it shouldn't work, and it still works. But the key is you bring cases of LaCroix, and you crack those LaCroix, and you drink it like it's beer, and I swear you'll get loose,
Yep.
relaxed, and you'll be super sharp and lucid. So
Oh
it'll
yeah. Well,
supercharge your.
you don't have what weighs you down with the depressant that you're shoving into your system of alcohol. So
You
that
never
makes a
tried
lot of
this, right?
sense. No, not at all.
I
Um,
would dare you to just get 2 cases of Lacroix.
okay.
Go to the next house party.
Okay.
Just throw that in there and just drink that only.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna forget you're not drinking. At a certain point, you just kind of, and no one notices you're not drinking. Everyone, it looks like you're drinking
Yeah.
because everyone's drinking. Yeah, and they're just not registering. You've only been drinking Lacroix, and you hold it and you
Shoot,
hide
yeah.
with the can. You know, like
Uh-huh.
you drink the can, and the can is your blanket, your comfort. You know, that can of fizzy liquid.
I what's tripping me out right now specifically is like I hope that I did it right and they could hear the music because the music is hilarious with what you're saying. Like for some reason it is like it's synced up with like certain pauses. I'm gonna sound like an idiot because I guarantee the music is not working right now. But I am hearing the music and I'm hearing this like story and it's like really epically tuned. It's just like instrumentals and you're getting to the punchline of the story. And I'm just like, holy crap, this is awesome. And it timed up perfectly. That's why I'm like chuckling on and
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
And it totally flowed well. And I almost want to like go back in and like dub this over just to make myself feel it'll help me out with that kind of stuff. But uh, straight up, I love when people challenge me to do stuff in a sense because it it's designed to take you out of your comfort zone and usually like those kind it's not like a cinnamon challenge where you try to throw cinnamon in your mouth and like swallow it. It's not like something stupid like that. Like I appreciate more thoughtful and in depth with like actual meaning uh, challenges where it's like, hey, why don't you try this? Like break a social norm. You don't have to drink at parties. You don't have to like hide behind like alcoholic beverages and to be able to interact with other people. And I think that's really nice. So I will accept your
I
challenge.
I have a friend that's like super charismatic and friendly, and everyone loves him, right?
Mhm.
And I go to a party, and he's just like, "Oh, Dan, what are you doing? I'm shy." And I'm like, what the fuck?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You're shy. What do you mean you're shy?" And then
Mhm.
he's like, "Let me get the drink," and then he taps the drink. He's like, "That's what allows him not to be shy is the alcohol." And I was like, "Wait, are you serious? You actually need alcohol to not be shy?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like,
A lot of
"Oh,
people
I
use
didn't
it as a
realize."
crutch. Yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing about water is you pretend it's a crutch. Yeah, you should try it.
Yeah. Why not? I agree. Uh, there's so many different things where I have my I don't know how to say it, like with the relationships, how you get out of a relationship, but you're still like
Mm.
friends with them. I'm not sure how to like
Yeah.
refer to that past relationship in a sense. But I've been challenged basically to kind of be more like accepting of myself in a sense of like the situation that I'm in because the and I'm just trying to transition this. This actually came up like it's just my stream of thought is I wanted to kind of talk about like expectations and managing expectations and it sparked from a couple videos that I've been watching and they were comic related and it
Mm.
was more of like there's two things that I wanted to address. One, it's hard to not have like your scope and like how you view certain things because like you're only yourself and you can't see necessarily somebody else's like perspective, like whether it be from a different
Mm.
culture, from a different gender, from a like different anything, like a different race, different anything, just different region, and see something different. And I was listening to a uh, uh, a video, and it was rather popular channel. I don't really care. I'll just say it. It was Comics by Perch, and I love hearing him talk, and he's very clear with his thoughts in a sense. And then he comes out with a video, and I saw it. All it did, it just screamed to me because he was talking about animation, and he was talking about like how we're behind in America, at least when it comes to animation, anime, manga, everything. Like accepting of those genres is almost like it's looked upon as kind of like a child thing. Like, oh, it's like a cartoon, and we play it down,
Okay.
and I go, wait a second, what is he talking about? Like, I don't view it like that. And then I realized that
Mm-hmm.
it's just who he surrounds himself with. Like he's an older male, I presume. I've never talked to him before, but at the same time, everything that he was saying, he was making generalizations for like all of America. And I'm like, you're just
Yeah.
one guy. Like you need to talk to somebody about it. And I was like, I've like waited outside premieres for animes just as much as like, and there are just as many people as like a premiere for Harry Potter. Like it doesn't, things don't have to be live action. He was trying to say that like there's this American thought that like things have to be live action, and I go that it just seemed antiquated to me because I look at the industry and I see it shifting towards number one online, and number two manga and animation. Like it's it's in a sense cheaper to do an animation. It takes more time, but you don't have to pay. You just pay voice actors and animators. Um, and in another sense, like when you go to get like an expensive like trade paperback or like it just seems like manga is cheaper. They use cheaper paper. They use black and white. There's no
Mm-hmm.
color, and it's people like it for the stories, and you still get the art. You just don't get like the super high gloss finished thing. And the point that I was trying to make was like I thought it was wrong in the sense of it. He was saying that like he was saying the direction that we're going basically is where we need to go, but I think it's already happening. I just don't think that it's his social circle that is adapting to that, and I'm not sure if
Direction
you have any
what's going?
opinions. uh American, like the consummation, what's a the act of consuming
Uh-huh.
comic book media and animation media and that kind of aspect, like nerd culture, basically. Like I
Is go
see it, it's going towards like animation and manga. Like it's more popular, is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing. And like I got a job at a comic book shop, and like there's an entire manga section. There's an entire Funko Pop section. There's an entire just like graphic novel section, and then there's comic books. And I see different walks of people come in, and they gravitate towards certain things, and it's just interesting. I think that there's a cultural boundary that people aren't talking about because it's I don't know. I mean, most of the like
And
the really good animes start like I guess in Japan or in like some kind of like I don't see many animes coming from the US, I guess,
what
because everything
did
has to be
Perch?
translated.
What was the premise of his argument?
The here, let me pull up the it was very well stated in the title, and it was just confusing to me. I actually commented on the video, and I go, listen, like I need to take you to a couple shops because like what you're saying isn't, it's very narrow scoped in a sense. uh Animation unaccepted as the US has created many problems. So he's basically saying that like people view anime as like cartoons and cartoonish and not like a real media. And he was referring to like things have to be live action. Like Cowboy Bebop had to be live action. Uh, all these other like comic series had to be like in live action instead of like an animation because it's more palatable for Americans to watch it. And I just thought it was interesting how he was using the term Americans because it was very, to me it was very narrow scoped. And I go, Americans in general like we're shifting towards uh more of like whatever the good story is and whatever the good art is. Like there's not like oh, this is Marvel, I have to get it. I feel like we're shifting away from that very rapidly. Like it doesn't have to be the big two anymore. It doesn't have to be superheroes. If you like superheroes, pick up superheroes. But at the same time, like if you don't, just like how I collect is good art, good story, and it doesn't always have to relate to me. Like I could appreciate something that I don't relate to. Uh,
It
you know,
sounds like he's making content. It sounds like
absolutely.
just content. Like I don't think he thought through
No,
everything he was saying in his essay.
and that's why I was kind of like bitter about it, because I just saw from his perspective, but he was using whole terms like us as Americans, and I'm like, well, America's a loose concept, anyways, and it threw me off a little bit, and it had me a little shook. I'm not sure if you have anything else to say about that.
I think the future of comics is digital in the end, ultimately. I think the Webtoons kind of thing and Infinite Scroll sort of comic and Marvel and DC are starting to do it a little bit.
Oh,
With
really?
like
Okay.
ultimately, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Marvel and DC, they started releasing Infinite Scroll comics that you read on your
Nice.
phone.
Webtoons is
Um,
amazing.
yeah, and they're just getting more eyeballs, more eyeball time, more people reading,
Yep.
far surpassing the American mainstream or like the American ghetto comic book industry, which is like fucking like 100,000 consumers, maybe. You know, it's like
Yeah.
maybe a
That's
100,000 of us.
yep.
But with the webtoons, you got millions of people reading that stuff. So it's just a numbers game, ultimate in the end. And the comic book market, the ghettoized the one we're in, it like superheroes are such a mainstay of it that, but that genre is so easily it's not as sustainable as people think. Whereas manga and
Yes.
webtoon, there is no genre at all. There's just no genre. So
It's
yeah,
whatever you want it
I
to
don't
be.
know.
It's based on story, based on what they're trying to say. Like
I do want to work, make comics like that. Are you gonna make comics like that? Are you gonna do that? You know what I mean?
with like webtoon esque and digital. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's like 60 panels or 90 panels an issue, and then I guess you gotta create like a new kind of pay rate for the artists.
Yeah,
Um,
that's because there's a lot, like it's just like a scrolling background, and like webtoons is very fascinating to me. You can consume the media super fast, uh, because it's just like going through your Instagram feed or Facebook feed or whatever social media platform feed, Reddit, Twitter, sponsor the show. I don't know. Um, yeah, the comic book that I'm creating is, man, I really want this music to be through. I'm gonna be so distracted by it. It's very beautiful and like very like upbeat and xylophone
Wait,
esque right now.
did you hear music when I played music in the StreamYard?
Yes, I did,
I don't.
because I mentioned when it was like off, like I could bring it in, like, but like this is what I'm listening to. Like, can you hear it now?
Yeah,
I
you
just
bring it in, um, and then you just put us two in the thing. Yeah, and then the music playing. Is playing for everyone.
oh,
But
so
I
now
think
the
you gotta
music's
still
gonna
gotta raise
continue
the
to play.
vol. But it's
Okay.
very low. Is it low to you,
Yeah,
or
well,
is it like
low because I totally put it low.
sounds super low to me? Oh, okay.
Like, how's that? That just
Yeah,
seems super high. I love that we're just like doing this during it. Whatever. I'm gonna keep it like right there, right in the super low in
this
the
music
background.
reminds me of The Room. You know the movie, The Room.
I do know the movie The Room, and I, oh man, it was a movie.
This music kind of sounds like that. It's like, what are you doing,
Okay, this is the
Vanessa? What are
perfect
you doing?
this is the perfect transition for me. I want to talk about comparisons. Uh,
Yeah.
in a sense of like I like broad scope real fast. I
Mm,
understand that all you can do is compare things to what is already there and what you know. But at the
okay.
same time, like I don't know if that's necessarily like fair in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, let's
Yeah.
say that I read an amazing comic book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm forced to compare it to other like quote unquote amazing comic books that I've read. I I don't know how. See, this is way too freaking epic. Like, I'm not sure. See, this should be very prevalent, like to everybody watching. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there, I just removed it. Attention and being able to like fully focus on something. Like I was the whole point of the music was like I was trying to set a scene. I was trying to make things feel comfortable and flowy, but like I didn't plan out what songs there were. And then all it did was
Yeah.
distract me and my mind.
Uh-huh.
And like coming from, I mean, from an outside perspective, anybody watching this, they're gonna be like, "Wow, that guy can't focus on like certain things." And I go, "Yeah, that's exactly how it is because my mind's always racing and thinking about different things, and it's hard to keep somebody's attention." And
Wait. So you're talking about comparing, right?
I'm
Comparing.
talking about I'm trying to bring it back to comparing, but I wanted to make that
Yeah.
point. Like from like the inception of this podcast, like I've been focused on the music, and
Uh-huh.
the second I turn the music off, like I'm back in the conversation and I'm like in it. In a
Yeah.
sense of like being distracted by something just from like a creator's perspective because like
Mm-hmm.
I want things to be perfect. Like I want my comic book to be perfect, but I know that I can't make it perfect. It's not going to please everybody. People are not going to like it. And accepting that is really hard.
Um, well, I think comparing is mostly like not a great thing. Um,
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people that want to be filmmakers and they study all the masters, and then and
Yep.
they wanna be able to master like all the masters, okay?
Hmm.
But then if you master like all the masters because you're studying all the masters, the person you'll end up being like the most is Steven Spielberg because
Interesting. Okay.
he's just an all-around great filmmaker, all around, okay? But
Absolutely. Yeah.
the thing about all the masters that people like really admire is that they all have huge flaws in their game. They all have massive weaknesses in their technique, and no one gives a shit because what makes them the master and what makes you care about them is that they searched so honestly for some truth, authentically and honestly.
Okay.
That's it. That's what makes you a master. If you just all you don't have to worry about is this good, is this bad, how does this
Yeah.
compare to this and that and that. No, that's all the wrong question. The question is, am I searching authentically? That's it. And if the answer is yes, you just keep going, right? Because
Yeah.
all the filmmakers you admire, that's how they do, like. But if you're talking about perfection, it's Spielberg. Spielberg is perfection. But no
Correct.
one's
He
trying to be
he
Spielberg.
ticks
Nobody
he
wants to be.
ticks all the
Yeah,
boxes. Yeah, I
yeah.
understand.
It's just it's ridiculous. And also like Hollywood, they look at the past to model things. Institutions look at the past to model like what's next.
Yep.
Visionaries give the world what it didn't know it wanted in the first place. The that a visionary sees the vision and then reverse engineers how you get to that vision, but you
Hmm.
don't look at the past to model the future. That's not how visionaries think.
No,
Um,
they're literally well, I mean, their goal is probably to shape the future or not shape the future, but they just want to get their point across. And it
but
can
they're
shape
not.
the future with it.
But they're not comparing necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. Cuz I like my perspective is comparing is unfair because nothing can be the same. Like when I hear people review stuff and they go, "Oh, it's just like another one of this," or "It's just like that movie or that comic book or that form of media," and I'm like, "Well, okay, like you just, but what makes it different? What sets it apart? What's the story that they're trying to tell or the point that they're trying to make?" And
I
I
was,
think
yeah.
comparing is like bad, uh, and harmful in a sense.
I mean, I guess it's a used as a shorthand to explain things that are,
Okay,
aesthetically pleasing to other people without like telling them exactly what it is. It's like it's
that's
a
fair. Like,
shorthand, I guess.
name something that they know and are comfortable with and are familiar with.
But I guess comparing too much, it can be sort of like judging,
Yeah,
and the more you do that, the harder it is on yourself, actually,
absolutely.
because you have to be perfect then. Because if you're like trying to find perfection, you have to be perfect, but there's no such thing as perfection, so you let go of perfection, and it's just more relaxed. Everything's a lot easier because you
Absolutely.
just you just fail. You just fail. You just keep fucking up until it starts to connect. But all you have to know is you're authentically searching,
Yeah.
and it's not about you. Hopefully, if it's not about you too, I think, in my opinion, when you remove yourself from the equation, it becomes a lot easier to do stuff.
Okay. Yeah. That's a challenging thing to do though, because you look at the world through like yourself. Like you, everybody's world kind of centers around themselves because that's all they have is I have my
That
thoughts, or you have your thoughts, and that's it.
well, that's what they think they have. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Can you
like,
expand?
okay, so like if we're all one in this moment, if we all exist in this moment, right? In a sense, we're
Yes.
all one, right?
Okay.
And comparison really works when we're separate. It's premised on the idea that we are separate, actually, right?
Okay.
Um, but if you decide we're not separate, right? Comparing doesn't necessarily make sense. And when you do, right? Anything you do, art you do to love the world. You do it to express loving the world
Hmm.
and to help other people realize that the world is filled with love, right? And it's not about being loved. It's not about getting love for yourself. It's about loving the world. And when you do that, more people start to want to work with you and opportunities start to open up for you because it's not about you anymore. You stop making it because many
Jeez.
artists, I think most artists, they go into it wanting to be loved in the end, actually, or like a lot of it. Most people do.
Yeah.
And it's a
Acceptance.
spectrum. It's a
Yeah.
spectrum of like love, being loved, and loving the world with the art. You want to get closer to loving, okay, the world. The
Yeah.
more you get to that, the more your ego starts to be removed from the equation and you start channeling more. And what you're making is not about you. So you start losing your self doubt. You start gaining immense confidence and you don't even care about failing because it's not about you. It's about the why. It's not the
That's
what.
crazy. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah. Yeah.
why, but you need to focus on the why, and the why is so I just want to make work that's so weird that it makes a person stop and realize like they're alive. It just makes a person realize they're alive, and the more effective it is, the more I make a person cognizant that they're in a strange world, and make them feel not so alone about it because I'm expressing that now, and now someone
Oh, that's
realizes
crazy.
they're not the only one that know, like, and that's the why. Like, know the why. Fuck everything else. Fuck
Yeah.
compare. Like, as long as you know the why and you're searching authentically, you don't have to worry about comparing your ego falling. It's not about you, and it starts to change everything, the nature of what you're doing. I,
That's
I,
beautiful. Absolutely.
I'm
No, I'm with
I'm
you.
telling you, this is how it works. I've seen this happen with a lot of people. As soon as they realize it's not about themselves,
Yeah.
that's when their career starts to change, like dramatically. That's what blocks people. Is when
It's
really
well,
they
yeah.
they they just want love and acceptance a little too much because that's not what it's supposed to be about. That's
Correct.
not
Or like an
generative.
affirmation.
Yeah, but that's like a consuming for this pit in your heart thing. That's not the kind of generative thing that will sustain you. It's more of like I need this thing, and but like it shouldn't be like that, you know. It shouldn't be like precious and
Yeah.
um yeah.
Oh man. Okay, cool. I totally agree.
It should be
And
like I'm gonna do work really hard and make a fireworks show so we can all have fun with my friends. Like
yeah.
that's what, you know. It shouldn't be this like, because if it is like really hard and tricky and perfection, you know, your ego's involved. Your ego is there. Schmeagol is out right now.
Yep. Yep.
You gotta
Oh
get rid of.
man.
You gotta live like the Hobbit. You gotta,
Uh
because in the end, you bow to the Hobbit. You bow to the Hobbit at the end. 'Cause they knew it's just about having fun. Keep it simple.
you,
It's for
you
the
brought that
Shire.
around. Yep. You brought
Yeah.
that around so perfectly because I messaged you before the show saying that I was listening to an interview and
Yeah.
it started off talking about Lord of the Rings and
Right.
bowing to the Hobbit, and everybody bowed to the Hobbit, and that was the moment. Um, Now, regarding ego, I love that you brought up ego. Um, with let's say that you make something, right? You follow exactly what you said. You made something that is true. You left yourself out of it. You just wanted to tell your story and keep
Yeah.
it not about you. Your ego is out of
Yeah.
it. It's
Yes.
successful. it
Hmm.
it throws you into a world of successful artists and creators.
Okay.
And how do you go forward managing like expectations? Because there's got to be expectations. You create something beautiful, the next thing that they're going to want is something beautiful. Like what do you
Oh,
how do you keep your
well,
ego
first,
out of those expectations? Yeah. Go
well,
ahead,
first
first
of all,
off,
if
way.
you're doing it right, the project that
Mhm.
takes off should be almost unexpected. It's almost like the third project you thought would ever get made is the one that actually gets made,
That's fair.
right? So if
Yeah.
you're doing it right, that's what it's gonna be like, right?
Yeah.
And and then that takes off, and you should kind of don't take ownership of it. Understand that you created this thing, you channeled this thing to love the world, and it takes on a life of its own. That thing itself has its own spirit, the project you create, and that will have a life of its own. It's not you. Remove yourself. So whatever the
Yeah.
fuck happens with your project,
Mhm.
however famous it gets or whatever, you talk about it like it's not you. It's like, yeah, that project's doing great. Yeah, great. Oh, I'm gonna try some. Yeah, okay, I'll try something else that could do well. It could fail. I don't care. I didn't expect this one to do well. Wow,
Yeah.
it did well. Hey, shit. Sometimes things do well. You know, it's because it's not you. It's a fucking thing you channeled, and and it happened, and it's its own spirit, or its own demigod. Actually, your projects can become demigods too, not just you, your
Yeah.
personas, your projects, all that shit.
It's so hard to wrap my head around though. Like, because separate yourself. Separate
Yeah.
yourself from your work, separate yourself from the projects that you're doing,
No, I
and
mean, no,
keep your ego out of it. But it is a part of
yes,
you. Yeah, I understand.
you had the special privilege of being able to channel this work of
Correct.
art, and that's awesome because a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
We're just lucky that we can even do that. Hey, eh, and if we
Absolutely.
make
Yeah.
money, that's nice, you know,
Yeah.
but that's not why.
No. The fact that we could
Just
even have
just
like discourse about it is
why
fascinating.
is because we want people to realize they're not alone. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
and then
And I
potentially be the heroes we needed when we were 7. Potentially, we become those heroes because when we were 7, we begged for a hero like who we are
mhm.
to inspire us. So we manifest the hero. Like we have to be the hero we wish we had, and manifest what we wanted when we were children. Like we do it now.
Cool. I guess what I'm searching for is what's stopping me because like I spent my life having expectations placed upon me
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, you can do this because you've done that, or you excelled at this, so you should be able to do all this stuff. And all that did was create like an enormous amount of pressure. And like
Yeah.
relating that to a comic book, like the Me You Love in the Dark,
Yeah.
popular artist goes in, gets a manager, be successful, is asked to do another work of art, create more art. You did it before, you should be able to do it again, and blocked. Can't do
Yeah.
anything. Nothing comes up. And she tries to like almost disingenuinely tries to make stuff and just hates it, throws it away, and puts herself into a scenario where she goes into a haunted house to gain an experience, or just separate herself from the reality that she knew. And
Yeah.
it's difficult, at least from my perspective, to remove my ego and remove myself from those projects, because I have such high expectations that were placed on me, and I'm terrified of failure. Like absolutely,
Okay.
even though like what you said
Yeah.
earlier was you gotta fail. You gotta fail multiple times. You gotta fail more
Yeah.
than you succeed. Like I
Okay.
understand that it's just so hard to grasp, especially with
Yeah.
how I was raised. So
So there's like a fine line between love and obsession. You've heard
mhm.
this. You've heard me say this,
Yep.
right? Love is freedom. Obsession is control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Expectations is part of control.
That's fair.
Um, it's not love. It's not a loving way to look at it,
No.
and it's not a loving way to look at who you are in terms of what you're doing, because maybe the why is not correct, right? When you're seeing it that way, maybe it's not the right why.
Yeah.
Because then the why is like, because I need to meet the expectations of whatever the fuck, right?
Yep.
That's not the why though. That's the wrong why. That could be like, so you gotta do it to love the world and fuck, like completely sever that other thing that's telling you have to meet some sort of expectation. That's not gonna help you.
That's fair. I mean, that's the reason I got a job at a comic shop, and it's like I don't know. It's not what I expected, but I'm absolutely loving it because I get thrown into situations that like it's not very stressful, but at the same time it's very freeing because I get to be put surrounded by ideas, basically surrounded by stories, and storytelling is so beautiful. And it I don't know. I see what you're saying. I have to stutter because I'm just so. It's almost like a deprogramming, and I hope that other people can relate to this who's watching the video. Like,
Yeah,
I'm struggling to accept who I am because high expectations were placed upon me,
yeah,
and smashing those expectations and like discarding them is almost like I failed and I let a bunch of people down. But I feel more complete and true to myself because I decided to follow passion, and I decided to be happy, and that shouldn't be that's my decision. It shouldn't be anybody else's. So if you're out there, follow your passions. There's a way that you can make it, and if not, reach out to me and we'll figure out a way.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, too many parents raise their children like they are some sort of like objects that owe the parent something for some reason or whatever, because of the parent gave birth, but it wasn't your decision to be
No,
birthed,
no, not at
right?
all. I didn't
So,
ask to be born. Yes.
right, right. So when we have a child, I think we will agree that when if we have children,
hmm
we will create a contract with the child that we owe the child. The child doesn't owe us anything, right?
Correct.
Right? Do you agree with that?
I agree with it personally, but that's
Personally,
not the
you agree with that
situation I'm in.
personally? But
Absolutely.
that you agree with that personally, right?
Yes.
That's the world you want to live in.
Yes. Why not create it?
Yes. Okay. So then you have to live in it now.
Okay.
Actually, you have to live in it, because if you still think you have expectations placed on you from the programming of your parents,
Yes.
you're not technically, you didn't break the cycle yet. You have to, you have to,
Fair. That's a
you have to
very fair
make that
point.
world now.
Okay. Yeah. Huh.
And it doesn't mean, it means you still love them. Like, it doesn't mean you don't love them. Holy shit. Like, yo, so my wife, right? Well, okay, so one person, two kids, okay? One kid does everything they're told they're supposed to do, makes a lot of money and everything, okay?
Got it.
But they're
Yes.
kind of cold and callous to their parents.
Okay.
And the parents just eat shit because that's what the kid did, everything the parents said, right?
Yeah, they checked
The
all the
other kid,
boxes and
yeah,
yep.
the other kid doesn't do the shit, doesn't have as much money, and they,
Mhm.
shit on the kid, but that kid is actually nice to the parents in the end, right? When you're on the deathbed, okay, and you're the parent,
Yeah.
you're not like, oh, I'm glad she made money, and what will it's like you realize, like, oh shit, all that mattered was all that mattered was like being kind and loving. Like, that's all that mattered. It's not, you know, if only they made more money. Like, no one, um, it's a strange thing. I don't know. Parents
Absolutely.
don't know. They don't know. Like, everyone knows in the end what mattered.
Correct.
I mean, that's a theory. I mean, I'm not saying that's a fact. That's my theory, but
Oh,
um,
I'm sitting here agreeing with it because I believe
yeah.
that too. So I'm
And
invested in that
and
theory. Yes.
if you do not give a fuck what your
Mhm.
parents want from you, but you love them with compassion, not
Mhm.
forgiveness, compassion. So actually, I've been having issues with forgiveness
Interesting.
recently.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Like
feel like a lot of
unable
people.
to forgive or
No, I don't think forgiveness is the thing that people need or want. I don't, because I think forgiveness implies, in its current usage, that you own the absolving of the sins, and a person receives the absolving of the sins, and you're supposed to be like,
wash upon me.
all
Yeah,
good, right?
I understand.
But
Yes.
but or and but it's not all good. That's not how, like, so compassion is different to me. Compassion is a holistic understanding of what happened. So that person's an asshole because they were raised by an asshole and they're treated like an asshole, and then they asshole to you, right? And you
Yes.
understand it. That's compassion, but you don't eat shit. You're like, okay, but I don't like it. I understand where it's coming from, but I need to set this boundary with you.
Hmm.
Forgiveness is like, you were horrible. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgive you. Okay, and then they're just like horrible again. Like, it doesn't, because it implies it's over and they can reset. But compassion's not about reset. Compassion is about knowing everything as it is, and yeah, that have compassion. Understand that your parents are kind of stupid because they lived in a different time and place, and they have different values because of their different time and place,
Yeah.
and they raised us with these old values that don't exist. They don't even exist anymore. Their values exist in a nowhere land
Yep.
because the world evolved past them, and they're
Correct.
still, the age they are when they had you. They're still the age that when they had you, they're still that age. Part of their
Correct.
brain is still that age.
Oh yeah, and
Speak
you've
to,
said that that's how you look at
yeah.
people when you talk to them. You see people, see people at where they were. Like
So
this is the person that I see because you had your this event happen. So I'm gonna look at you from that event. I'm gonna treat you like that because that's
yeah.
who they are. That's literally where they hit the pause button. Like this
So
is
so
transition button.
their expectations of you came from being smacked around or something. Okay, that's where it
Oh
comes from.
yeah, absolutely.
So you say, oh no, I'm not gonna continue the smack around cycle.
Hmm.
I love you. But that's not how I'm going about things anymore.
Now, going back a second, what were you saying about your problem with forgiveness? Was it just that you don't like forgiveness and you'd rather have compassion? Is that what you're?
Yeah, yeah, no, I've seen it go wrong.
Okay.
Like someone's emotionally abusive, and then they get called out, and then
Yeah.
and then that person feels really bad and is so sorry and blah 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 until to
Yeah.
the point where then the victim says, oh, "Okay, I forgive you." Okay, and
Yep.
then the perpetrator goes right back to doing the same shit again
Yeah,
because
that's fair. Okay.
they think forgiveness is a reset button. That's
Correct.
and only because Judeo-Christian cultures believe forgiveness is a reset button. That's why the word has been corrupted. I like if the concept wasn't so corrupted, I wouldn't mind using that concept and but I think it's been so corrupted by Judeo-Christian values that compassion is what we need, not forgiveness.
Absolutely.
Only
The
God forgives.
That's fair. Yeah, in Catholicism, like Roman Catholicism, there was a term. I always forget the name of the term, but I'm going to describe it to a T. You can pay the church, and they would, like in like older times, the Roman Catholic Church, you can pay the church and they would give you a paper basically saying that you have been absolved of your sins.
Yeah,
I forget
the
the name of it. And it
indulgences.
indulgences. Thank you. You can pay for indulgences and then it's just done. All right, return to go. Collect your $200, go about your way. Like you don't change from that. You stay in the same and you perpetuate the cycle. And it's a cycle of abuse usually. So,
I mean, they did that with fucking Christianity and the whole like believe in Jesus, do whatever you want, go to heaven.
yep.
Buddhism, same shit actually. There's a Buddha called Amitobu, right?
Mhm. Yes.
And you say this Buddha's name a couple times before you die, you go to
Yeah.
heaven too.
Yep.
Buddhism created this heaven clause and this like contractual clause in these religions corrupt the religions because they tell you you get automatic resets, you do whatever the fuck you want,
Yeah, as
and
long
there's
as
no
you do it right at
learning.
the end.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, that's not how this works.
No, not at all.
Heaven and hell is here now. Okay,
Yep.
you are in hell or you're in heaven.
Yeah, you
You
make your
got
life.
yeah, yeah. So you know, I mean, I know it's really hard to get out of hell, but um, you
Well,
might be in hell.
circumstances. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
and
Whether
and
it's
you can
it's
be in
placed
heaven.
upon you, you were born into it, or you made some dumb choices and now you're stuck with it. Like it is definitely hard.
It's definitely not about money because I got none, and I am really happy. And I don't know, I'm lucky. I'm good at communicating, so
Oh, communication is
what,
so key in so many
dude?
aspects of life.
I was up in New Hampshire with like people and Trump supporters and conservatives,
Hmm.
and one guy comes in because people in the neighborhood they start talking about me, right?
Oh
And
yeah, you all.
no, and this guy
I
goes,
wonder. I wonder why.
oh, I heard there was a rich Chinese guy up here. And I'm like, oh, I'm
First
not
off,
rich.
or
I
Chinese.
am, yeah, I'm not Chinese or rich, but I was like, oh, rumors, there's a mysterious rich Chinese man up in New Hampshire. And I always, every time in New York I get into any situation, I pretend I'm a lawyer. I'm
Okay,
a lawyer or I'm a law student. If I'm dressed too much like a kid, I'm a law student. And if I'm dressed a little more adult, I'm a lawyer.
got it.
You just instantly just pretend you're a lawyer. That's a pro tip. It completely will change the tenor of every confrontation you have. Oh, are you frozen? Am I frozen? Am I the only one live right now? Maybe that is so. If I am the only one live, hello, welcome. Oh, hey,
49 minutes. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm back.
all right,
I
you're
think it was
back.
me, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah, because
so.
my things went spinny. You could either repeat what you said or I could watch the replay. But you said you just uh, something. I might just have to watch the replay. Uh,
Uh, I don't remember what I was saying.
yeah, that's
Oh,
fine. Yeah,
oh,
I'll
pretend you're
literally
a
watch
lawyer.
it.
Pretend you're a lawyer.
Okay. Yes. Got it.
Yeah.
And it depends on like what you're wearing. If you're dressed like I usually I either dress super freaking nice or I look like a blue collar / homeless person. Those are my two
Yeah. So you're a
things.
law student or a lawyer. You're one or the other.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Works
Yep.
most of the time. Also, like, um, uh, if you're ever like walking in the city streets, it's really
Mhm.
busy,
Okay.
and there's people walking into you on their phones. You scrape your feet while you're walking. As you're walking, you just scrape your feet. Okay.
Just
Yeah, yeah. And the
okay.
person they will look up from their phone. They'll see you. They will get out of your way. They'll go right back in the phone, and they will not know what happened. They have no
Yeah.
idea what happened, right?
Yeah.
I can go down a street and move 10 people like this, just scraping my feet. It's like I'm moving oceans of people.
I've practiced
It's
that before. It's very empowering.
but no one has to yell. No one gets upset,
No.
and you're totally manipulating everyone on their phone.
Fair.
You
Fair.
just scrape your feet.
Let's
You know,
say, I mean, I don't have that in LA-esque because I don't live in an area where there's like lots of foot traffic. But let's say that I go to like an amusement park. I will literally stare through people and they will move out of the way. Like I act like I am not there. And if they're cognizant of it, they will move out of the way. Um, but yeah, with phones, that would be a whole different thing
Mm.
because you have to make something audio. Okay, I agree. I agree.
Dude, yeah, I'm gonna be in LA, man. I'm gonna be totally sober in December. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like focused, working on scripts and all this stuff with
Oh,
no
cool.
expectations. No expectations. I'm just gonna
Thank
go
you.
out there and meet people and do like
Whereabouts in
my
LA?
like right smack in Hollywood,
Oh,
like
just like
like 2 blocks
the
from Man's
center.
Chinese Theater. Yeah, like
Okay, yeah. So that is
s-
LA proper. That's fair. Okay.
yeah, but it's a house. It's a house. It's got like a backyard and stuff. So patio, and so it's gonna be nice.
You should have a good time. I'm interested to know how the like you have obviously explained it to me, but like
Oh, you frozen again. Um, I wonder what the question was. Hmm. I
I
guess.
don't know if I
Oh,
don't
hey,
control.
hold on. Hey,
Yeah.
so I lost you for like
Yeah, I
a
just saw it
while.
happen again. I don't get it. Like I'm hardlined in and everything,
Are
but it's
you?
telling
Do you have like a bunch of tabs open on Google Chrome and stuff?
yeah, let me close some of these.
Because the more shit you have open, the more likely this happens. Like it's just jamming up your processor and all that stuff. And every Chrome tab actually is pretty intense in terms of processing.
I'm literally watching
Frozen again. I hope this talk's pretty good for everyone. Talking about a wide range of topics. And, please ask questions for the next. Oh,
okay.
hey.
It's
So,
literally just gonna
you're
be
gone
you.
again.
Yep, I know. I've been
Um,
watching it.
but
I
I was
closed
saying,
everything. Yes, please.
yeah, I was telling people they should leave questions to ask. That'd be good. Like, a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
questions.
definitely. The discourse on our last video was mainly agreeing with stuff, but it did open up a few conversations with different people. Okay, I should be good going forward. I closed everything. Until I'm not. But at the same time, what I was trying to elicit was I would fill my cup with apple juice because it sort of resembled beer. It just didn't have like a foamy layer on top. And I would
Oh,
sip apple juice all night, and people would just assume like, oh, this guy's like w- one of us in an aspect. Um, I'm not sure if that's similar. I just don't like carbonated stuff. Something about like consuming CO2 is just
wait, you
weird
should
to me.
pretend apple juice is whiskey, first of all.
That's true. I could darken it too.
I mean, no, you don't have to even. I mean, it's
Oh,
video.
that's
It's like no one
yeah,
knows. Like,
yeah. Just put it in the
just
proper
looks,
cup. And just
yeah, it'll look like whiskey, and just have just the tiniest amount all the time. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, that man, how much is he drinking?"
his cup is like never empty. Okay, that makes sense. Um, shoot, now the freaking connection issue threw me off. So talked about expectations, talked about ego, talked about what was the other thing? We always end up at religion for some reason, and I find that fascinating. Uh, there's a lot of good stories in that aspect too. Related it loosely to comics. You were saying that you were having people ask questions, and I think I cut out again.
Mm,
Did you hear my part about like the discourse from our previous video?
a
It
little
was a
bit.
lot of it was a lot of affirmations, basically saying like, yes, I totally agree with what you said, and they're like specific examples.
Yeah.
Uh, if anything, like if people are willing to take an hour out of their day, an hour and a half out of their day, watch a video, relate to it, respond to it, I think that's just well served in the sense of going back to what you said. Like you're not alone. You're other people think this way. Other like you don't have to go about things and be in like a cycle, and hopefully it's not an abusive cycle. Uh, so yeah, this is random ramblings,
Can you
rambling
tell
duo.
this is a Jedi outfit?
I immediately assumed Jedi when I saw you. The
Yeah.
lighting, the two tones, and the on the floor aspect is what got me totally Jedi. To the point of where
Okay.
like before the show, I decided that I was gonna also sit on the floor as my leg falls asleep because I don't
Cause,
crisscross applesauce.
cause I could look like a monk, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, got this
Yeah, yeah.
Asian thing going on. I got this Asian stuff and this bald stuff, right?
This Asian stuff. Do
Yeah.
I say I
Then
got like this white stuff right here, like this
yeah,
this, this unruly sideburns, and
makes me look more monkey.
I will now call you. I will refer to you as Wukong from here on out. Uh,
Yeah, actually, I wrote a comic book, like a superhero genre feature film called The
mhm,
Henchman.
mhm.
It's about two henchmen, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, and like one of them is like the second son of a famous supervillain that was killed by their Superman or whatever. But
Okay.
one of the members of the good guys is the Monkey King, right? But he's a
Okay. Yeah.
psycho. He's a psychopath, and he just like murders people like left and right, and later he becomes like the true villain at near the end, you know, because he's sort of like his rival is the Diamond Cutter, who's their Superman, you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
he's technically the most powerful being, and it just makes the Monkey King so upset. He just hates it, you know,
Correct. Yeah.
and there's this like conspiracy of like who's trying to get this guy killed, and you find out, you know, he's the guy, really, you know. Um, it's great. And then I have a character that talks to rats too, and but there's like a more dope like ending where like so the other henchman, he's psychic with rats and could talk to, but he never became a villain because he never wants to hurt rat. He never wants any rat to get hurt, you know. So he's just a henchman because they offer insurance and pensions and um. But later on, he makes like a suit of rats. He like becomes a suit of rats to help his friend, like because he's about to get killed or something. Like
Okay.
it's gonna be awesome.
It
Yeah.
sounds freaking awesome. The fact that I can randomly say Wukong, and you could say, "Oh yeah, I wrote a story with the Monkey King, and it's
I
about
also
henchmen, and there's this one's telepathic with rats."
And there's a
And
voodoo god too. Like I put
okay,
voodoo gods because like Thor is some white god from random Europe, right?
yeah,
So why not use the gods of other cultures to make different heroes and villains? You know, so this
that's
it's
why
good. It's a
not?
good
Yeah,
script.
that's freaking awesome. It sounds awesome. Um, huh? I don't have that many stories. I mean, I have like two stories, but they're not even my stories. I'm more of like a writer slash editor than like an original content person. I love taking ideas, expounding and elaborating them, and making them
Yeah.
like completely different ideas. Like that is something I will take somebody's creative kind of aspect and I'll just twist it and turn it until it's something completely different. Like that's something that I enjoy. But I don't find myself coming up with like a lot of original ideas in the sense of like what really is an original idea. I'm getting real philosophical, but I don't know. I like like combining things like into like a mega transformer. Like I'll take like this and that's an arm and that's a leg and that's this and then I'll make something completely new. I'm not. I mean that's a form of creativity in a sense, but like I don't know.
I mean, I'm better at other people's ideas. I'm better at taking other people's ideas and making them better.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Yeah,
so I'm probably good
saying the
in the
same thing.
writing room.
Uh huh.
Like, I'm good at creating original stuff, but I'm probably not the best. You know, I'm sure there's better people than me at that skill set, but
Yeah.
in a writing room, I can well work on other people's shit too, and that's equally valuable because a lot of times like the original concept sucks actually, and then
That's
in
how
the
I feel
room they
about a lot
make
of my
it
ideas. Yeah. Okay.
awesome in the room actually
Yep.
by working it. Um,
Fair. Very fair.
so I don't know, man. Like,
Like how I go through creative processes, I have people bring stuff to me, and I go, "Oh, that's a cool concept. Let's see if we can tweak it into something else." Uh,
yeah,
it's like not offensive, but like I don't know. I struggle with like from square one. Like I'm not a from scratch cooker. Like I'm not going to make my pasta. I'm going to buy pasta and I'm going to turn that pasta into something else by adding a bunch of other ingredients, uh,
but you're gonna
or
act
combining and
too,
layering.
right?
Oh yeah, I've well, acting is funny to me, and people keep telling you that you would be a great actor. Uh,
Oh.
my my personal opinion is that acting anybody can act. It's
Sure.
just it's like you portray yourself through that character. Like
Hmm.
it is your interpretation, and whether a casting director likes it or the actual director is like I want that person, that's all like a who you know basis and if you fit that part because everybody has a vision. It's
Yeah.
just it's just like you could find somebody on the street and say like, "Hey, you'd be perfect for this character in this role that I have."
Hmm.
Um, acting is fun in a sense, and it's very creative. But like I'm not creating those characters. I'm portraying what I believe them to be with also having myself built into it. I'm not sure if that's too convoluted.
No, no.
Okay.
Um. So I mean, would you make your own stuff to act in?
Absolutely. Well, yes. The stories that I have that were presented to me, I talked with the people and I said, can I write myself into this, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just got it. I mentioned this to you, I think, once, where don't, I got washed up in like the repetitiveness of, I'm not washed up. I got, what's the word for like, just over it, like burnt out. I got burnt out on
Mm-hmm.
auditions. I went
Yeah.
to close to 1,000 auditions, and my
Yeah.
resume has like 15 things on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1,000 auditions, 15. My rate is like super low on success, and I'm just like
Right.
burning through money with gas and travel and wasting
Wow.
my time basically. But it gave me experience, and I'm like, why not attack it from a different creative perspective?
Yeah.
So I just started
Yeah.
learning as much as I could and as often as I could about the industry and different facets of it and how I can get in, and I made connections, and that's literally what it is. 80% of your success, in just my personal opinion, just know that like more often.
He's gonna say connections. I would even say like real relationships. The more you can establish actual relationships with people, with things you're passionate about, people that you connect with on an emotional level, those are the types of connections you need to make. Not just arbitrary networking connections. I mean, you can do that. That can work too. But that can also make you jaded and burnt out too. If that's the way you see connections and networking. So better to just make actual relationships with dope people that are within the passion of what you're going for, because they exist. Um, uh, oh, oh, that was just me. Um, this is early in the podcast, so life of the series. So we're gonna have little hiccups here and there, but either of us can always hold the show, hold the fort, as it were. I guess we're gonna go for 90 minutes, maybe. We passed the hour mark, so usually I think we're generally shooting for 90 for these episodes. But yeah, connections, friendships, oh, relationships. Oh, also, if you're trying to be an actor, I try to recommend to a lot of actors that they gotta like do more than just act. They have to write an act, or produce an act, or direct an act, or whatever. Um, and a lot of my actor friends, they hate hearing that. They don't want to hear that shit because acting is really hard, and they're just like, well, I gotta do this other shit too. That's not what I do. I'm training to be an actor. Oh hey,
Oh man, thank you for keeping it going. Uh,
oh,
it's not my setup. I literally lagged out of my own stream, and I got a message from my internet service saying that they're having issues.
oh wow.
So please finish your thought.
Oh no, I was just saying. I have a lot of actor friends, and I tell them a lot like they have to be an actor plus, so they got to be actor writer, actor director, actor producer. They got to do, but a lot of them, right, because they find acting is so difficult, they're just like, but I'm an actor, I don't want to do that shit. That's not what I do. I've been training for this, and yes, you might be really good at acting, but unfortunately, um, actors may have the least control over their destinies in the entire show of business. Like, so, show business and all of show business. So it's like you actually need to get that plus in order to take some sort of control of your destiny, and to control your brand better, and to demand for more, because you're not just an actor.
Yeah, you have
It,
multiple
it
facets.
yeah, way better for negotiating anything, actually.
Yep.
If you're like, you were the writer too, or producer too,
Oh yeah, I feel like
they
writers
gotta,
get overlooked.
yeah, yeah, but I just think like when actors get paid a lot, it's because most of them don't, and that person didn't get paid so much, so they're just like they're getting their rewards finally.
Hmm.
So I never think they're getting paid a lot. Oh, and they're losing all their privacy too. It's also that's the cost of fame too. That money is payment for loss of privacy and being alone and yeah, you've just I mean, if you're taking that, when celebrities make a lot of money and they act like they don't like being in the public eye, I'm just like, no, go fuck yourself. You know exactly what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Unless you were a child
Oh,
actor, then maybe you didn't. But if you're a
okay,
grown
that's fair.
adult, like you know what you're getting into.
I didn't know it would come with all this attention, and I don't want to be part of the public eye.
And I don't know. I also I know if I get famous, I gotta not talk about my opinions as much.
Ah, that's true. It kind of chain or straps you down. Like you can't. Like I love where I am at personally because I can say whatever the heck I want, and there aren't any repercussions. There aren't any like, oh, you shouldn't be saying that. You're gonna influence like this one person, and I go, well, that person's not watching my stream. Like I have a lot of creative freedom where I'm at, and I assume that you do as well. Um,
Yeah,
it's
I
hard
was
to throw
talk
that away.
I was talking
Good.
to some much bigger YouTubers, right? I was in a
Yes.
green room with them, and they were saying how they sort of envied me
Why not? Yeah.
because I can do whatever I want. Cause they're so big now that their viewers have so many expectations of them, and they have to maintain this thing or whatever.
Yep.
But my brand is I do whatever the hell I want. That's my brand. So
Yeah. You want to cook? You're gonna you're gonna cook. You want to just talk and express something like concern with something and shed light on a topic. You can do that. I totally agree. Like bigger YouTubers with expectations, and that's what we've been touting about most of this stream. So you're like forced to put out content too.
yeah, yeah. That's why
Like
I
you
want to
need
keep it
to,
simple.
yeah, you need to hit a deadline. People are like, oh well, why didn't you go live at this one time? I thought it was every time at this thing. And what if you have a shitty day? Like, do you want to portray that to your audience? I mean, I personally don't care. I've been very volatile with the content that I've created. You've seen who I am, and it's very raw because I'm like, if I'm feeling stressed out, I'm gonna talk about it and I'm gonna address it, and people relate to that in an aspect. But yeah, with fame loses your privacy and you get a bigger spotlight. Like you can affect more lives and more people, but it's very
Yeah, but
limited.
you can't have a bad day. So
Nope.
if you're famous and you have a bad day and you go out, you're having a bad day. Every single person you encounter that day will tell everyone they know for the rest of their life that you're a piece of shit.
Yep.
But you were just having a bad day.
Yep. You
Um,
slip up. You
that's
slip up once, or half of
that's
once.
no, not even half. Just you're not smiling. You're just not smiling. You can't go around not smiling all day because half the people you encounter will tell
Mhm.
people for the rest of their lives that you're an asshole,
Yep.
and they don't know you just because you didn't smile.
Nope. That's
Especially if your
nuts.
brand is smiling.
Oh yeah.
And that's part of my
That's
brand.
crappy.
Yeah.
Your
Actually, yo,
what do you think your
I
brand
wear.
is? I want to know.
So first of
Okay.
all,
Okay.
most of the time I don't wear glasses.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. That's part of my.
Observationist.
It's
Okay.
part of
Yeah.
my. I am nearsighted a little, but not that much,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. I'm actually
So,
supposed to be wearing glasses.
well, okay, yeah. So then if I get too big, I just I just don't wear glasses, right? I wear a hat, I just
Okay.
go down the street. Someone's like, "Hey, are you?" I'm like, "What? What? What?" I just act like I don't speak English. What are you talking about? I reverse Superman this, and I pretend like you're racist. You don't know what I don't know what's going on, and then shoo, I'm telling you, cause yo, you know Aquafina?
Yes.
Yeah, I met her. Like I said, I would talked with her, left, and then my friend's like, "Oh yeah, that's Aquafina." I was like, "What?" That's all. I didn't recognize her without her glasses. She wasn't wearing her glasses. This is before she got really famous,
Okay.
because her glasses was part of her look.
Yeah. Oh, everybody
Yeah,
has a look. A shtick.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but it, yeah, like these kind of glasses. So I didn't recognize her without them. So I was like, oh, maybe I can do that. I'll do that.
Yeah. No, I'm into it. I like if you were wearing a ball cap and you weren't wearing glasses, I'm not sure I'd recognize you on the street.
You mean a wig? If I was wearing a wig, if I was wearing a wig and lipstick, you wouldn't recognize me on the street.
Well, that would be even harder to recognize you on the street. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Until I like wink at you, then you're like, oh
And
shit.
I'm like, oh dang, he really came to LA. He wasn't pulling my leg.
Yeah,
Can I ask about Aquafina? Because like,
yeah.
uh, people.
Oh, mm-mm. Maybe you're not meant to ask about her, cause it just is about to leave us. Um, I will say this about Aquafina. She is a really nice person in real life. It is true. And I don't think she was trying to be an actor. So I feel like a lot of people are like putting a lot of expectations on her. Um, but she wasn't trying to. I mean, I know she's taken on this mantle of the Asian woman, right? And she's like the funny Asian woman and all the shit right now. And it's a lot of responsibility, I suppose. But it just happened to her. She wasn't like chasing that. That wasn't her goal. Her goal wasn't to, you know, be a famous, the most famous, possibly, the most famous Asian actor in the world. That wasn't. I think she was just trying to have fun, and people liked her. She had enough charisma that people liked her on camera, and then they just saw her one thing and another thing, and just kind of. I think it went kind of got ahead of her, and it kind of became bigger than she ever expected. I'm almost guaranteed that's what went down, and now she's doing great, and that's cool, and I'm happy for her. Um, but I feel a little bad about all the criticism. She's getting a lot of criticism. Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
yeah. So I just went on about Aquafina.
Cool.
I,
Because
hopefully I answered your question, your
oh yeah,
ghost
you did.
question.
You did. Yeah, I didn't hear any of it, and I know that you answered it perfectly. I was sitting here just talking to myself, saying, "Imagine if I was just live streaming alone, and it wasn't a duo. There'd just be like dead space, and I'd have to come back and explain myself." But yeah, I glimpsed at a question. You definitely answered it, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna realize that you were right the whole time.
Eh,
So that's my plan. My idea was like I feel like I'm unjustly criticizing her because I don't know who she is. I only know what she portrays. And
oh, I was saying, oh wow, that's so funny. So I was saying how she never ever meant to be one of the most famous Asian actors in the world, like ever. Like
okay, so we're on the same page. Got it.
she was
Okay.
a goof rapper. She was a
Yeah.
comedy rapper,
Yeah.
and I believe she was completely satisfied with being a comedy rapper.
Cool.
Okay, then
Yep.
she was asked to be in this one movie, and she made such an impression. She was asked to be in this other film,
Mm-hmm.
and that's from Neighbors 2, and then Ocean's 8, and she made such an impression, and because they just wanted a quirky Asian woman,
Yeah.
and she just had just enough charisma that it went beyond her wildest expectation. Like she wasn't, but
Snowballed.
I'm telling you, she wasn't even trying. That's the thing. So, and I know she's getting a lot of flack from like different communities, but I'm just like, yo, she's not even trying to do this. Like it almost happened to her because there's such a vacuum
Yeah.
of like charismatic Asian people on camera that she was just filling a void at this moment in time,
Oh, that's
and she
nuts.
had
Okay.
no intention of doing so. Like that,
Man,
it's really weird. Like
I sort of
she
like kind of like I knew who she was and where she came from,
yeah,
and I was taken back because I'm like, wow, like she was receiving a lot of flack, some of it from me, and I'm
yeah,
like, well, who am I? Like, still, like different communities, uh, and I felt like wrong about it. I was like, I need to know. Like, it's hard to judge somebody when you don't know them, like what they're portrayed in like the public eye, like whatever. What I can criticize is like a role. Like I can say like like I wasn't a big fan of that role. I would have taken different creative like uh, avenues. Uh, but I
yeah.
mean,
Are you talking about
it,
Shang Chi?
yeah, I
No, she's not an actor. Dude, she's not even an act. She's like, they're just like, hey, $1 million Marvel film.
I'd say yes.
Oh, okay. And then like all this shit is happening. Okay, and then you're gonna say this. They're like, okay. That's what happened, man. It's not even like I'm telling you. This is not even. I think same with Simu Liu too. They just sort of,
Okay.
and he was also broke as f before he got on Kim's Convenience.
Yeah.
Never thought ever he was gonna ever be the most famous anything. They
Yeah.
both. That's the thing, and that's why they relate to each other really well, actually, as people. Is
Makes a
because
lot of sense.
they both had zero intention. They never even dreamed of being the most famous actors in the world. It just like happened to them.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
okay.
this
Yeah.
because we don't dream like that. Asians don't dream like that.
I'm like
Yeah.
barely hanging on. That's perfectly fine. I think we're gonna.
Sorry, hold on a second.
No,
Oh
do
no,
it. I'm lagging out.
I'm
I could
lagging.
like sense it. Oh no,
Okay,
I'm still
sorry.
here.
Can
We're
you hear me?
good. No, that's fine. Yeah, it
Okay,
was.
okay.
That's. I mean, this is the reality that
Um,
I have right now. Is internet going in
it's
and out.
like it's it's different with other a lot of other actors.
Yeah.
It's just not really the same for them too because I know enough about them. I also like saw Simu perform 4 or 5 years ago. He hosted this event. He did a great
Okay.
job. Very nice guy. He's very affable. Um, but I think that's what Marvel wants. They just want like a nice, affable guy that will play ball. And even though he's gotten some flack for opinions or whatever, he plays
Yeah.
ball. Like he does
Yeah. Why
what.
not?
No, I'm just saying he's not like a loose cannon. Like Robert Pattinson might be like more of a loose cannon. Like or like
Brings.
Edward Norton isn't. He's hard to work. You know what I mean? Like people are hard to work with. And there's some people, they're like, wait, you hit this cue, you ding the thing, and you say, hey, look, and then they're like, hey, look, and then okay, here's the money. It wasn't, there's no deeper meaning to
Yeah. It's
what
like
they're doing.
Edward Norton
The-
comes in and says, "Okay, here's your same line," and instead of "Hey, look," he says, "Hey, look, there's something also more like that I need to talk about," and just goes like, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. What I'm trying to say is that they will be the sponge. They will be the sounding board. You throw something at them, they will reverberate it. But there are other people out there that you throw something out of them, and they have this complex where they're like, "Well, I'm already somebody. I'm going to throw my own creative aspect into this, my spin."
I mean, it's all good and bad. I mean, for me, they're more like trailblazers for me personally because I am Asian, right? Um,
Yes.
and if I act, I want to fill that void too, because I think there is still a void of not just charismatic Asian, but like one that doesn't give a fuck. Like I don't think we've seen that really.
I don't think we have
So
either. It's always been like
yeah,
quirky comedy or uh, like outgoing I don't know. Yeah, there hasn't been much like off the rail. Like, I mean, Bobby Lee is a little bit out there
Yeah,
in
but
a sense,
he's a
but he's
clown. But
just
he
yeah,
plays the clown.
he's just the comedian that gets naked a little too often.
I mean, right
Not
now
anymore, but yeah.
the guy I like the most, the guy that shows the most charisma, in my opinion, where it's not by anyone else's rules,
Okay.
okay, is the guy that plays Wong. What's his name? The British actor. He plays Wong in Doctor Strange.
Yes, I don't remember his name. I know who you're saying.
Um, but he's British.
I had no
Wong.
idea he was British.
Yeah. Doctor Strange. Actor. Benedict Wong. His name is Benedict Wong.
There's two Benedicts in that movie. All right.
Yeah, it's Benedict and Benedict. Wow. No one. What the hell? But yeah, he to me shows charisma where he's not playing into anyone's expectations. Like
No, he is not.
I admire John Cho, but sometimes I feel like he plays to certain expectations. You know,
Okay.
no offense to him. I feel like all the Asians have. That's what they've been doing. The East Asians.
Oh yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna send. I'm every name that we've sent. I'm gonna send their publicist this video and see if we can get
oh
some.
my
No,
God.
I'm kidding. uh, no,
But
yeah,
no.
I agree.
I mean, I thought Ali Wong. She's cool. She did a great performance in the movie she did. She's gonna be in more stuff. She's gonna be in Paper Girls, the series.
Oh, cool. Okay. So,
Um,
so you're in the category or the ballpark or whatever. You're in the side of you think that there's a gap that still needs to be filled in different cultures in popular media.
uh,
Correct?
Definitely the East Asians though, because
Okay.
I've just like, because I can name charismatic figures in other groups of people
Okay.
in terms of actors. I can't think of one in the East Asian community. Like Kumail Nanjiani, right? Pakistani. He's
Hmm.
excellent charisma, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
there's black, Latinx, queer, so many people with charisma. I can't name an East Asian with a very strong, like, authentic charisma. I
I
just
mean,
can't think of.
yeah. How many Korean dramas do you watch?
But I mean in America.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I totally get
But
what you're
no,
saying and where you're
actually,
coming
even the
from.
Korean dramas, I don't see it much in Korean dramas either,
I
to be
don't see
honest.
strong acting skills in
Cause,
Korean dramas.
and I can hear it too. I can like the men. They're actually over time their voices started to become more um, monoculture. Like
Okay.
men, so they tonally they used to just talk like whatever. But the more and more media is out, Korean men they kind of talk like, well, yeah, that's what I think of that and da da da. And the girls are like, oh my god, and that is that what is that like I can hear the tone. It's like changes and shifts based on
Uh huh.
where the zeitgeist is. I mean, it happens in America too, but it's so funny hearing it as an American listening to Korean, like and more Korean people visiting, and how I can hear them talking differently and talking more like the media, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are imitating the media.
I know, and it comes out very disingenuous. Uh,
But people, I don't know. People do that.
yeah, imitation is a form of flattery. They want to be something that they're not. If they would just
Oh,
stay
oh,
true,
I
it'd
like.
be more genuine. Go ahead.
But I think Bowen Yang is pretty good actually. Bowen Yang. He's the Asian guy on SNL. He's gay.
Uh,
He's a gay Asian guy on SNL. He's new. He's a new.
yeah, I haven't
Anyway,
watched SNL recently.
yeah. So he's pretty decent. He's got good acting chops. We'll see. He might be the one maybe.
Okay, fill
Cause,
that.
cause Aquafina has like real life charisma, but
Absolutely.
like but like I didn't believe half the shit she said in that movie. Like I didn't believe it. I was like, I don't believe you just said that. I You sound like you're reading lines from a script. Like,
You're watching the eye tracking too.
yeah, no offense. Like, no offense. Like, it just, I'm like, you just sound like you're reciting lines. You know, I don't want to hear. There's a way to do it. You know, and
Yeah, add emotion, take beats. Like
yo,
there's schools that we've gone to that teach
I
that kind of stuff.
I thought that of Timothy Chalamet too. Actually, in Dune, I was watching
That's
that
fair.
shit. I was
Yeah,
watching
that's fair.
Timothy. I was like, man, I don't believe a fucking word he's saying. Like, I
Yeah.
believe everyone else. There was this one line he goes like, but Grandpa was riding the bulls and blah blah blah, and I'm like, that was so fucking fake. And I would like say that line to my wife, and we would just laugh, you know. But Grandpa was riding the bulls. I was like, you sound like a whiny little bitch. Like, and there's so many ways he said it. He said the line exactly the way you think you should say it, and that's why it's so fucking fake. Um, as we can tell, this makes Promiscuous Time Traveler quite smitten, listening to me shit on Timothy Chalamet's acting. I mean, no offense, I just don't fucking believe a word he says, man. You know, when I act, you guys like fucking crucify me, you know, destroy me, call me out for being a shit actor. Please do it. I'm asking for it, obviously, because I'm shitting on these performances. Uh oh. We're doing time traveling on the show. Hmm. A little confusing. But, yeah. You know, I'm sure he's a nice guy. Um, but I never believed his acting. I don't know. First time I saw him, I think, was Lady Bird. I didn't even notice him in Interstellar because I guess I saw him there first. Um, I don't get it. I think that movie, Call Me by Your Name, right, really struck people. Cause he's a sexy pretty boy making out with a man, right? I don't know. I just didn't believe it. I never believe his performances.
This is performance art, and this is
Yeah, I mean, I got controversial takes on. There's like a lot of actors that everybody loves that I'm just like, nah, I don't think so. They're not
uh-huh.
as good as what everyone's saying. I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. And I'm not the only one. I feel like there's like some actors that the general public thinks are great, but like a lot of actors secretly think are not great at all.
I share that boat. I- it
But I
comes
don't want
from
to. Yeah.
how I consume media, and it sounds like we're fairly similar. Like I'm not sure if you're that concerned with plot. I don't really care that much about plot. I look at director choices, lighting, acting, the ability for people to create the role. Like I love people that can evoke emotions from me, and it's usually the bad guys that do it. Like you love to hate them, and that is good acting in my aspect. But I watch it from a different perspective.
I think it's a
So
balance. Like,
okay,
if the plot is amazing, the acting can be not as awesome.
yeah,
If the plot sucks, the acting has to be excellent. So, like, um,
that's fair.
the second time I watched Doctor Strange, I was like, oh, this movie's bad. This is a bad movie, right? But I didn't notice it the first time because I'm like, these are the greatest actors of our generation.
Yeah.
They're saying these lines with 100% conviction, and that is the reason I'm in. Like, I realized it was the acting that made Doctor Strange work. If they didn't cast the greatest actors of our generation, that movie would not have worked. It would have just been too stupid. Like,
Interesting. Yeah, they had some. Well,
and
okay,
then like Tenet, right? I thought the
okay,
acting was that was the weakest acting of all the Nolan films, in my opinion.
okay,
Um, but the plot is so captivating. You're just like you're just watching that shit. You're just glued to it.
okay. I'll
But
agree
the
with you with the balance then.
acting was like what? I don't even know why. You don't even get. I don't know. That was what a blunder. I don't know if Christopher Nolan directs actors, to be honest. You
Maybe.
know, like Woody Allen doesn't. He's famously he doesn't tell them anything. Hmm. Well, this episode is brought to you by Spectrum. Spectrum Internet, making New Yorkers smile one freak out at a time. Hmm.
I'm in the process of lagging out, and uh, it's gonna happen again. But we should end this soon. There's two of me here now.
Yeah.
So, um, thank you everybody for watching.
Yes. Thank you,
Uh,
everyone.
we
Wait,
were,
when do you premiere this?
uh, I was gonna do it relatively soon. I'm not sure how late do you stay up because I was just trying to be around for it.
Stay up pretty late, but I'm prepping for a dinner party. I'm going to a dinner party in Bushwick from
Okay.
Williamsburg.
Well, I'll premiere it tomorrow then. So you all will see this on Tuesday, and I hope that it relates to you. I hope that it resonates with you, and it sparks some kind of thought and some kind of discussion. And I look forward to having that discussion in the chat while we're live. So I'll figure out a time, and we'll go from there. And thanks everybody, and thank you very much, Dank, for taking the reins every time I lagged out, which was like 4 or 5 times. So, and the conversation
That was
actually
great.
still flowed okay in the sense of I came back, didn't hear what you said, and we're still talking about the same thing. So that was awesome. So
Yeah.
thanks.